There's a threat out there. It's a threat to the safety of millions of Californians. It's a menace to our businesses and endangers our whole state economy. But this threat is not a natural disaster. It's man-made. It's the proposal to repeal prevailing wage. In this short video, you'll find out why the threat to prevailing wage laws puts California's already battered economy on shakier ground. When the Northridge earthquake rocked Southern California, it had a devastating effect on the state's economy and infrastructure. One of the most traveled roadways in the state, the Santa Monica Freeway, partially collapsed. But within record time, only 76 days after the shattering quake, this crippled freeway was moving again. How did it happen? An experienced contractor working with the state of California called on a highly skilled workforce to rebuild this freeway ahead of schedule and under budget. What does this have to do with the prevailing wage? Everything. Contractors, government project managers, and economists agree. Prevailing wage laws are a vital force in success stories like the Santa Monica rebuild. California passed its prevailing wage law more than 60 years ago. The law helped ensure workers got proper training through labor management-funded apprenticeship programs. Today, that investment in quality has paid off in the productivity and cost-effectiveness of California's skilled labor force. The state prevailing wage law requires contractors to pay construction workers on publicly funded projects the minimum wage rate that already prevails in the community where the work is to be done. Wage rates are not set by the government. Instead, they're set by the free market in each area. The law protects local communities from economic disruptions such as low-paid transient labor, which displaces local labor, burdens social services in the community, and threatens business revenues.
The government is the biggest purchaser of construction services in the market. They can use their bargaining power to grind down wages at will. Prevailing wage laws prevent them from doing that.
Our experience with the prevailing wage law means that you hire reputable contractors that pay decent wages and benefits to their employees, and you're going to get a project that's built right the first time, and it avoids a whole lot of problems and a whole lot of unnecessary expenses from the county standpoint.
John Maltby is the San Mateo County manager overseeing new construction at the county hospital. Like other government decision makers, Maltby believes high-quality workmanship is a smart investment.
Well, there's two things that are important to all builders of projects, and that is that project comes in on time and within budget. But the key ingredient to all that is the person that's actually building the project, whether it's pouring the concrete or framing the walls or whatever in the project. We've got to have quality people do that work, and it's just like anything else in life. You pay for what you get.
You get what you pay for. And Maltby says prevailing wage laws are good for business and taxpayers.
We think that prevailing wage levels the playing field and makes sure that we get good contractors that have good employees, and that's what's important to us.
Betsy Brown's company was the electrical contractor on the water treatment plant at the San Francisco airport.
Everybody wants a safe job electrically, private or public, and that I think prevailing wage helps to ensure that the public gets a decent job for the money that they spend, and it gives the worker a decent pay for the work they do, and it helps the contractor make a decent profit for the work the contractor does. And I think it benefits us all around.
In California, the prevailing wage law has ensured that construction workers get the training that contractors rely on.
We're saying that that building out there, we're assuring you, the consumer, that it's safe. We're assuring that by the fact that we are the ones that train these kids.
Bobby Bramlett is the owner of Aire Sheet Metal in Redwood City. His shop participates in a joint management labor apprenticeship program. These privately funded training programs are made possible by the cooperation between businesses and unions, who together see the value of investing in the quality of their workforce.
The apprenticeship is actually giving me more or less the science or the knowledge or the reasoning behind what I'm doing when I'm actually at work.
It's neat being able to make something out of just a flat sheet of metal, you know, and just go out there and put it together, and when you're done, sit back there and look at it and go, wow, I did that, you know, and walk away proud.
Level up your dozer and bring your material this way.
In some trades, apprentices spend up to 5 years in training. They learn everything from reading blueprints to operating heavy equipment. Prevailing Wage is working in California, but to see what would happen if we lost the law, all we have to do is look at the state of Utah. 10 years ago, Utah decided to do away with Prevailing Wage, and the results were devastating. They thought it would save money. They thought it would be good for business. They were wrong.
The people who advocated the repeal of Utah's prevailing wage law said that it would save money. They said that the state would save 25 or 30% on its state construction costs. That didn't happen. It couldn't happen.
Peter Phillips is an economist at the University of Utah.
The reason it can't happen is because labor costs as a percent of total costs is only 25% of the total construction costs. So if you were going to save 25%, then all the workers behind me would have to be working for free, and they're not.
Phillips conducted a study called Losing Ground, which shows that repeal of prevailing wage law has badly hurt Utah's economy.
And what we found was that lost tax revenue from lower income in the construction industry, lost income tax and lost sales tax, tended to overwhelm the savings from lower construction costs.
When people can't afford to buy anything, they're just buying bread and milk for their kids because, you know, a guy's working for nothing. You know, that hurts everybody. It hurts the clothing industry, it hurts the automotive industry, it hurts the real estate market, it hurts everybody.
Because incomes in construction dropped, the state of Utah loses tax revenues of more than $10 million each year.
The idea of having low wages in a county or a state is probably one of the worst things you can have.
Salt Lake County Commissioner Randy Horiuchi says most construction workers no longer receive health insurance or other benefits through their job. This forces state and local governments to spend more tax dollars on health care.
And if they don't have them, we end up having to take the bite with people's tax money.
There are other costs to the taxpayer. Construction projects using low-wage, untrained workers cause dramatic delays and cost overruns.
We found that cost overruns on state roads tripled.
There are going to be hundreds of men thrown at this job just to get it done, and it didn't need to be.
The building of this gym at Salt Lake Community College is typical of construction problems now common in Utah. The gym was supposed to be open for this year's graduation, but it won't be completed for at least another year. Cost overruns will reach into the millions.
And when you get inferior workers working alongside of you, those schedules aren't met.
Plumbing contractor Ken Rickards says these delays cost him money.
So as a business aspect, we're loading out the job, getting manned up, geared up, going, and then shut down. Every time you do that, you're losing money. Every time you do it.
You see the mess.
Why is there such a problem with unskilled workers? Because many apprenticeship programs have shut down due to lack of funding. Without prevailing wage, training programs were eliminated. Union membership dropped dramatically, and many trades couldn't afford to keep their apprenticeship programs open.
We found that in the 9 states that repealed their prevailing wage laws, apprenticeship training fell by 40%.
Because there are inexperienced and untrained workers on many job sites, safety has become a serious issue. Losing prevailing wage meant a rise in injuries and a drop in safety.
Right here's where I had a man fall 2 days ago. They had plywood going across this steel. My man took it was safe, went up there, walked across, fell down, and now he's in the hospital. He may never walk again.
On-the-job injuries jumped by 15%. Costing the taxpayer more money for worker compensation claims and disability payments. Utah's repeal of the prevailing wage law has a strong message for Californians. The short-term savings in labor are minimal, only 1 to 3% of overall construction costs. But hidden costs have been enormous. Drops in state revenues, cost overruns, safety violations.
But overall income in construction trades will go down.
Utah expert Peter Phillips came to California to testify before an assembly committee. He urged Californians not to make the same mistake Utah did. But Peter Phillips is not alone. Construction industry analyst Peter Cockshaw used to oppose prevailing wage. But in a recent issue of the Cockshaw report, he said repeal of these laws would be a huge mistake. And Mayor Richard Riordan of Los Angeles has also come out in favor of prevailing wage laws. He said, quote, retaining prevailing wage laws is critical to the public-private partnerships which have worked so well. We can all rest a little easier knowing the next time the earth moves, we will still have the skilled contractors and construction workers needed to get the job done. The mayor has good reason to support prevailing wage. He saw how it worked to keep his city moving.
We would go through some real problems if we had to go to an untrained workforce. We would have more defective work that we'd have to tear out, redo at our cost, so the cost would go up as a result.
Carl Bauer is an executive vice president of C.C. Myers, the general contractor on the rebuild of the Santa Monica Freeway after the Northridge quake. He called on subcontractors and skilled labor whose performance under pressure had to be reliable.
We actually hired all the people that we used on that job, with few exceptions, out of the union hall. And if you had to go out and just start training people from scratch, we'd still be working on that project. And that trained workforce is a key.
A record 11 weeks ahead of schedule, the Santa Monica Freeway repair was completed.
Of course, I am very proud of what I did, and that bridge, it speaks by itself. You know what we had done.
The cornerstone of the freeway achievement was the skill and quality of the tradesmen and women who made it happen. Under prevailing wage guidelines, the state saved money, the contractor made a bonus, and the workers had the incentive and the skills to meet the demands made on them. California has a success story. We don't need an unnatural disaster. Keep California on solid ground. Keep prevailing wage.